My name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we're about to solve is the one that you'll find on page number 418. And today is our lesson number 10. On 418, yesterday I did the two problems in the first column, number 15 and 16 on day number 9. Today we're going to do 17 and 18. But I want to do number 18 first. Number 18 is a nasty one. It's a level 5 problem. I want to get the damn thing out of the way before we worry about 17. Not that 17 is any easier, but it's all comparative, you understand? Let's do number 18. It says the graph above shows the function g, where the function is g of x, we are told, is k times x plus 3 times x minus 3 for some constant k. And we are told that if g of a minus 1.2, we are told, is equals to 0. And we are also told that a is positive. Let's make a note here that a has to be positive. And that will come in quite handy later on down the road. The question simply is, what's the value of a? Before we go any further, I just want to remind you, I just want to point out here that this problem obviously deals with the notion of function. And when I said g of x, this is how we read it, g of x, and if that itself confuses you, or if you're one of those people who haven't quite mastered this notion of function and what they mean by g of a minus 1.2 and so forth, thing to do is to type in the word function, type in my name along with it, Keshwani, and then function in quotation, and you will find a couple of videos that you will find fruitful if you spend the time, if you put in the time to understand the concept there, where I covered this notion of function. G of a minus 2 simply means that wherever we see x, our job is to replace it with a minus 1.2. And that quantity, once we arrive at it, has to equal to 0. So let's do it here. So it's k times x, which is, we're going to replace it with a minus 1.2. That's our x. This is the x part. Plus 3, that's the first quantity, times x again, which is a minus 1.2, minus 3. And that's the second part. That's this part right here. Let's simplify it. K times a minus 1.2 plus a 3, a negative 1.2 and a positive 3. Positive 3 and a negative 1 would make it positive 2, and then another negative 0.2 will make it 1.8. A plus 1.8. And this will be a minus 1.2 and a 3 will be 4.2. And this whole thing equals to 0, we are told. This whole thing equals to 0. Now when you have a whole bunch of quantities, when you have a whole bunch of numbers, and you're told that when you take their product, and the product happens to be 0, if you multiply 5, 6 or 7 numbers in a row, multiply one after the other, and we are told that their product happens to be 0, then what that tells you is that at least one of those quantity has to be 0. Maybe more than one of them are 0, maybe they are all 0, but at least one has to be 0. Which means this implies to us that either a plus 1.8 is equal to 0, or a minus 4.2 is equal to 0. One of these two quantities has to be 0. That's the only way the product is going to be 0. K times this quantity is 0. It means either a plus 1.8 is 0, in which case a would have to be negative 1.8. A would have to be negative 1.8. I don't know why I put a parenthesis around it. Or a would have to be positive 4.2. But a cannot be negative 1.8 because we are told that a is positive. We are told that a has to be positive. We are told right there, which means which means that this scenario is ruled out. This scenario is ruled out. This implies that A must be 4.2. I think that's all they're looking for, the value of A. And that's all there is. The graph above shows the function g, where g of x is this quantity for some constant k. 0, and A is positive. What's the value of A? There you go. A is positive, we are told. If A is positive, which means A would have to be 4.2. That's all there is. Let's do the next question. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. I think I explained just about everything here. Let's do the next one, number 17. We're done with this one. Number 17, they give us a small flag. They give us a flag. And what we have to understand there is the fact that there are two of these things here. Something like that. Something like that is given to us. We are told that this is A, this is B, this is C, right here is D, and then E, and then F. They do not give this point a name. I'm going to give it a name. We just call it G, so that we can talk about it. We are also told that this triangle ADF, and the triangle BCE, this big triangle that you see there and there, we are told that they are equilateral. They are equilateral, which means B to C equals B to E, and it also equals C to E, and A to D equals A to F, which also equals D to F. Because the ribbon is to be sewn around the entire edge, it is necessary to know the perimeter of the flag. So they're looking for the perimeter. If CD, what is it? CD, if CD, DE, and EF are each length 10, so they are all equal to each other. C to D we are told is 10, D to E we are told is 10, and this guy is 10. Well, that makes life very easy. If C to D is 10 and D to E is 10, which means C to E must be 20. And if C to E is 20, then so is B to E, and so is B to C. This guy is 20. Similarly, because D to F is 10 plus 10, 20, therefore A to D must be 20. Now this is where the prickly part is going to come in, this is where the tricky part is going to come in. A to D is 20. But because of the symmetry of the whole thing, A to G is equal to G to D. And similarly, B to G is equal to B to G. G to E rather. G to E. And they are all 10. This is 10, this is 10, this is 10, and this is 10. That's all. We're almost there. Now we want to find out the perimeter of the flag. The perimeter of the flag is going to be the perimeter of triangle BCE, which is 20 plus 20 plus 20. It is simply 20 times 3. The perimeter of triangle AD, which is again 10 plus 10 is 20. This is 20. This is 20, A to F, and D to F is 20. So it's again 20 times 20. So far so good. What we have to understand is that in doing so, we are counting we are counting this part, which is not part of the flag. We are counting D, F to G, G to D. We have to subtract minus G to D. We are also counting this part right here, G to E. G to E. We have to subtract that part. And, okay, this is the tricky part here. D to E, right here. D to E is part of the flag, but the problem is it's being double counted. This D to E, we first counted that 10 as the perimeter of B, C, E, and then we counted the same 10 again when we talked about the perimeter of A, D, F is being double counted. So we have to subtract that too. D to E. That's it. That's the perimeter of the flag. The perimeter of flag is this guy right here. 20 times 3 is 60. Another 20 times 3 is another 60. And then we have G to D, which is 10. G to E, which is another 10. And this is another 10. Because just like the bigger triangle, just like the two bigger triangles, B, C, E, and A, D, F, those are equilateral triangles. Similarly, G, D, E is also an equilateral triangle with just half the length of the original triangles. It's 10 by 10 by 10. So minus 30. So that's your answer. 120 minus the 30 over 90. 90 is the perimeter of the flag. And that's it. That's your answer. We finished this section. We're going to move on to the next section, section number 8, in tomorrow's video. Alright? My plan, this is just a plan, I hope I stick to it. My plan is to try to cover each given section in 5 videos. So we did section number 1, which actually that was section number 3, the first math section in the first exam on day number 1 through 5. This section we just finished and I realized it was day number 6 through 10. So I'm going to follow with this pattern. Day number 11 through 15 is going to be the third section in this exam, in the first exam. And each exam has 3 sections, which means we're going to have 15 clips, 15 videos to take care of one exam. And there are 10 exams in the book, which means my very last video, I don't know how long it will take, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, but the very last video is going to be day number 150. 10 down, 140 to go. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.